So we know that Robin Lehner has been the de facto starting goaltender of the Vegas Golden Knights, and we've been talking about that in a few videos already. It's been like 2 so far, and this is now going to be the 3rd one talking about the Golden Knights and their playoff race and the goaltending and everything, because this story has just gotten even weirder. Last time we talked about how it got worse, how the Golden Knights were starting to lose, this and that, and all that comes in between. But yesterday we had ourselves what was probably the most strange moment in this entire Golden Knights playoff redemption arc so far. So, long story short, it was a rematch of the 2018 Stanley Cup Finals. It was Washington versus Vegas in Vegas, and we had ourselves a few really interesting things that happened. Firstly, Alex Ovechkin had 2 goals and an assist, so there you go. Good seeing Ovi get up to 90 points on the season, and more importantly, his 2nd goal of the night was the 50th goal of this season, tying up Mike Bossy and Wayne Gretzky for 9 50-goal seasons in one's NHL career. All time, he is now tied for 1st. Ovechkin's 2nd goal was a slap shot on the rush, absolute bomb of a goal with 3 minutes left in the 3rd period to tie things up and send it to overtime, where Shea Theodore eventually danced around the Washington defense and scored his 14th on the year. Shea Theodore scoring big goals at clutch times has always been a pattern for him, so good on him for getting another one of these important goals. Obviously, the Golden Knights winning in overtime is huge for their playoff odds, this and that, but that's not really what I wanted to talk about in this video today. What I wanted to talk about was the goaltending. Because when you talk about Robin Lehner and everything we said about him in the previous video, we had noted how in the game against the New Jersey Devils, where the Golden Knights lost in regulation, and where Robin Lehner let up a 3rd goal that was a game winner, which was a really strange play by Jesper Boquist. Boquist was doing a few dangles and he shot it. Robin Lehner didn't even move. It just went right by him. He didn't even know that it was behind him. We spoke in the previous video about how Peter DeBoer called out his goaltending and said, on nights like that against New Jersey, you hope that your guy is better than the guy on the other end, and that is not what we had in that game. He called out Robin Lehner, and he said straight up to the media, yeah, Robin Lehner is pretty much the reason why we lost. Now, you could debate whether or not that's true or not, but it's an entire other thing when you're straight up telling the media, yeah, no, it's your fault. We didn't get the best goaltending out there. The other team got the best goaltending, therefore that's why we lost. It's kind of a strange psychological thing, right? You don't want to mess with your goaltenders and the way their psyche processes the game, especially with Robin Lehner being the mentally diagnosed person that he has been with all the struggles he has publicly spoken out about. This is probably the last guy of all people that you want to call out personally as the coach of a hockey team and label to the media as the reason why you lost. Like, I don't know, it kind of rubs me the wrong way to see the coach do that, even if Robin Lehner wasn't diagnosed with bipolar 1 with manic phases, and I believe there was PTSD in there as well. But either way, after Peter DeBoer said all this crap about Robin Lehner in the media, guess what happens the next game against the Washington Capitals? Well, he starts Robin Lehner. And after the 1st period, Lehner has only let in 1 goal. He made 12 saves on 13 shots against, a .923 save percentage on the night, and the goal he let up to Evgeny Kuznetsov was not really a great one. The Capitals entered the zone and they were doing some weaving at the blue line. Eventually, an Ovechkin one-timer just from a really far distance gets on goal. Robin Lehner tries to cover it up, but it squeaks by him, and Kuznetsov is right there to just pull the open puck into the goal and just make it 1-0. So, not really the best performance there. There also was another goal that was scored on a cross crease that was called off. So, period 1 comes to an end. It's 1-1. Robin Lehner has only let in 1 goal, and the game is tied. Guess what Peter DeBoer does? In the 2nd period, it's not Robin Lehner that comes out. It's Logan Thompson, who is now suiting up in the crease. Now, I get it. You could go out there and say, oh, maybe Lehner got injured, maybe this, maybe that. But Lehner was watching the game on the bench for the remainder of the entire segment there. So that kind of, to me, says, okay, if he's on the bench and he's sitting there in the backup seat, that doesn't really mean that he's injured per se, right? Because if he was injured, he wouldn't be there. They'd have the emergency guy suiting up and sitting there instead. Robin Lehner got pulled in a 1-1 game by Peter DeBoer after Peter DeBoer called him out to the media, and granted, the Golden Knights won in OT, but you still had that stain as to what happened at the start. Here's Jesse Granger on The Athletic tweeting about this right here. So DeBoer watched Lehner give up those 2 goals in the New Jersey game at the 3rd period, laid the blame at Lehner's feet after the game, and said himself that Thompson is the only consistent goalie. Then he somehow decided to start Lehner the next game and decided to pull Lehner for Thompson in a 1-1 situation. Unbelievable. Peter DeBoer said after the game, he started Robin Lehner tonight because we pay him to play these games. He said that the decision to go with Thompson after the first period was because he felt the team was rattled after the first goal that Lehner allowed. Now, I don't know about you, but is that not a little cuckoo of a way to make your goaltenders rotate around the clock? I don't know if it's the stress, oh, we gotta make the playoffs, we've got a less than 20% chance, we need to get every point we can get, oh no, Robin Lehner let in a bad goal, okay, pull him, let's make Logan Thompson suit up for the rest of the night. Like, that is just such erratic behavior over there as a coach, and I can't believe he went out there and said, yeah, no, it's because I felt the team was shaken up after the first goal that Robin Lehner allowed. One goal, it's 12 saves, 13 shots against. He lets in one, and it's one where he had the puck, but it kind of dropped behind him, which is why Kuznetsov was able to pot it in. Again, is this not like the last guy you want to go out there and call out publicly to the media on more than one occasion like Peter DeBoer has? It's the second press conference in a row where he's like, yeah, no, Robin Lehner was not good enough. That's why we pulled him. Or that's why we lost. That's why we're not doing as well as we could be. That's why we're not in the playoffs right now. Like, it's one thing for all the Vegas fans in the Reddit threads to go out there and say it, but the coach? Come on, man. Like, settle this behind closed doors. You can't go out there and say that into the media. That's giving them all their scoops. This is the exact same thing as the Alan Walsh, sword in the back of Marc-Andre Fleury thing. Like, I kind of feel like making a spoof of that for the thumbnail of this video. No, I'm probably not going to do that because that would be pretty difficult to do. Would it be? I don't know. Either way, talk about Peter DeBoer and him betraying his goaltenders. This kind of feels like one of those as well. And this would have been not as big of a deal as it was if he actually just followed through with what he said before, Talking about how Lehner wasn't good enough, talking about how Thompson was confident and consistent, only to start Robin Lehner the next game. Like, what? This is so strange, and I pity Robin Lehner for being in this position. Like, nobody really deserves that type of treatment, right? Like, even the Koskinen thing wasn't that bad. Koskinen had a brutal mistake, which is why we lost. That's not that bad as this entire saga that's been going on the past few days, is it not? Peter DeBoer has been blasting Robin Lehner several times over the past few days, and I kind of wonder where it's going to go next. So, the Golden Knights right now, if you take a look at the NHL standings and you look at the wild card, look at all the stuff that's going on here, they're still not in the playoffs. That's something we have to make clear here. They are 3 points behind the LA Kings with 4 games left, and they're 2 points behind the Stars with 1 more game than them. The Predators have 93 points, so they have 4 more points than Vegas in 1 fewer game. So Nashville, your odds are looking a lot more solidified for that for the first wild card, I should say. Vancouver is behind Vegas in 1 game played and in 2 points, so if the Canucks win their game against the Wild today, then they will be tied right up there with Vegas, but of course, the Canucks and the Wild, I'm not going to go out there and say that it's a guarantee the Canucks are going to win, so you can catch up with that game as it goes on later on the channel when we make a post-game video about it. But either way, let me know in the comments all your thoughts about the Vegas Golden Knights. The fact that they still won yesterday. They won! They had 2 points. It was an overtime win, so it counts in the regulation overtime win category. They won the game off a beauty move by Shea Theodore after Logan Thompson gave up a slap shot on the rush to Ovechkin with 3 minutes left. And the coach still goes out there and says, yeah, no, Lehner was not great. There is a reason why we pulled him, and it's because he didn't make the team comfortable. And Logan Thompson is more consistent, and he's better. So we went out there and he played Thompson in the second period. Like, why? There's a smarter way to go about this, man. Like, hey. Let me know in the comments all your thoughts about Vegas, Lehner, Thompson, Peter DeBoer, and all this stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.